Hello, everybody. You could call me Hunch. And today we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin cycle. We're going to be talking about Lynn Alden. We're going to be talking about left translated, right translated, just to prepare you for what's going on. So if you've been with me now, I've been a big Bitcoin DeFi bull, stacks bull. We've had a lot of blood in the market, huge drawbacks, 50% or more. But that's okay, because even if you haven't sold theoretically, you are, in my opinion, possibly positioned for the next leg up. Which could be huge. I don't know if that's life-changing for you or not when you take profits, so on and so forth. There's a lot of questions around that. But I do think things will revitalize, whether that's in the left translated cycle, the right translated cycle, or this new thing that I think possibly could happen. Now, I just want to stipulate by saying everybody has a point where you've made enough theoretically that you're life-changing, you pull out, you pay your taxes, and you change your life. Please be very responsible. Everything I say here is not financial advice, but consider all of that if you are listening to me right now and positioning. There is a point where you probably should start scaling out, so on and so forth. But I'm saying all this because I do think that we're going to hit this point where retail comes back. It goes nuts. You can see that with the roaring kitty coming back to the meme stocks, which AMC and GameStop, so on and so forth. So I would be continuing to theoretically position yourself now in some of the things, if you agree with me, in my theoretical portfolio or your theoretical portfolio or whatever it is, and then be prepared for a cycle if it does happen, or for what I'm saying where this is the most likely outcome. So let's get into it. I'm going to set up here real quick. Where's my mouse? Okay. So I just want to start by saying showing this what's going on in the market. This is the SEC, head of the SEC, talking about GameStop, right? And I just want to show you that this is why we're early, right? We're setting up for this huge bull run, whether that's left translated, right translated, or prolonged, right? And this is one of the reasons, right? Because they want to turn off things when you're doing well, right? When AMC pumps or GameStop pumps, they want to stop it because the hedge funds are getting obliterated, or somebody on their team is getting obliterated. So just watch this.
GameStop shares are soaring once again this morning, adding more than 170% just since yesterday morning. Another meme stock soaring along with GameStop is AMC. AMC is up 187% for the week to date, and of course, it's only Tuesday. Joining us right now with more on this is Jay Clayton. He is former SEC chair and a CNBC contributor. And Jay, we've been kicking this around this morning. I got a whole lot of different takes on this. First of all, the short sellers didn't learn their lesson last time around. Second of all, retail investors are back with a vengeance, but you can't really call this investing either. These are massive swings. As a former SEC chair, what do you think when you look at all of this?
God. Well, it bothers me. It bothers me on many levels. I think your last guess got it right. It's a lot closer to gambling than it is to trading, and it's certainly not investing. Okay,
so I think he goes on and saying, he's starting to question whether the government should get involved in this. I don't know how they can not call this investing. The investing is you're putting your money into something, and because you like the product, even when you buy healthy food, you're investing in your health, right? So I think this is complete nonsense, but I digress. So they shut it off, right? So what is that? That bodes well for crypto. 24 hours. Nobody can tell you what is investing, what isn't investing. There's no arbitrary opinions, right? That's why Bitcoin, one of the reasons we're going to set up and do well, in my opinion. And we'll be talking about the cycle here. Okay, so now Bob Lucas, you should go follow him. He's been, I think, advocating for some time now that this is a possible left translated cycle. I think maybe he's backing off that now, right? And he might be going towards more a traditional cycle like we've seen in the past, maybe in 2020 or 2021. Right? But I'm not convinced. Early on in this bull run, about a year ago, I said, I think we're going to be, it's going to come faster than everyone realized. And it did happen, but now we've had this cool off period. So what is exactly happening? To explain that, I'm going to talk about another video I recently watched with Lynn Alden. This is about fiscal dominance versus monetary dominance. So quickly, monetary dominance is when the Federal Reserve has more control over inflation and monetary policy, because interest rates, credit in the market gets more affected, right? But now we're entering fiscal dominance where credit really doesn't matter. It's all about where the government is spraying the money hose, because the interest rate really doesn't change the inflation, because you have these high debt to GDPs. They have to print a bunch of money, and so interest rates really don't matter, and they're taking a backseat. Okay, so to me, this is the main reason why I'm going against maybe the left translated right cycle or the more traditional cycle where we have this blow off top, right? And I'm thinking of something more like this, and I tweeted this, right? Financial repression, the print, 3-year bull to bear with inflation at 20 to 40% per year. I figured it out. It's not left or right or translated cycle. It's a bipolar cycle, right? And this is in response to a tweet about why Jay Powell should not, cut rates or whatever because of the hot print, CPI print. Now, why do I say this? So if you watch her talk, Lynn Alden, she basically says in the 70s or the 40s, I can't remember which one, when they had fiscal dominance and they had to print their way out, they did it over a 10-year period, right? And they had inflation at 6 to 10% or whatever it was, whatever she describes, for 10 years, and they were able to lower their debt to GDP by causing inflation. Okay. The things that have changed about this, right? So what has changed? Everybody has the internet. You could see these meme stocks going absolutely bonkers and crazy, right? So in my opinion, and I've watched another video about this with Luke Gromen, he's a Bitcoiner, right? What are they going to do, right, if in this fiscal dominance era to get us out of fiscal dominance? Well, my opinion is they're going to have to print a crap ton of money over a shorter period of time and just get it all out of the way. So instead of that 10 years of slowly manipulating the market in their favor and having people deal with it that way because they get newspapers, they're not really aware of what's going on, right? They can kind of do this over a longer period of time without causing chaos. They're going to have to cause a shit ton of chaos over the next 3 years, okay? So that's the position I'm taking from the meme stocks, right? And this 24-hour trading thing that it bodes well for crypto, and this fiscal dominance position that Lynn Alden is describing. So if you look at a Bitcoin chart, right, a more traditional translated cycle, and I don't know where the halvening is, right? I'll just draw like something. Say the halvening is here. Traditionally, you would have this chop, and then you would have this huge blow off top, right? And so we've kind of had this run up to new highs, right? And then I kind of predicted this sideways chop for 6 months to 2 years, right? So what I think possibly could happen, right, because of this fiscal dominance situation is we could have another thing where we impulse up to like, say, 80K, okay? Why is it drawing? So like 80K. Say we're at 80K, okay? And then we come back down to 70K, right? And then we go back up to 90K, and then we come back down to 80K, right? And then we go back up to 90, and then back up to 100, right? So it's going to be this like real choppy descent up over a 3-year period. So I'll just try over here. So we have this 3-year period, okay, 3 years, right? We have this up, back down, and we just like keep retesting this thing because we have this kind of like hyperinflation-esque large print for the next 3 years in order to get us out of this fiscal dominance back into an era where they can use interest rates to control the market. And that's the way I see it. So what would be the plan if this does happen? I'm not saying that this will happen, right? The plan would be to watch it run up, right, and have altcoins explode, take profits, watch it go back down. DCA back in, watch it blow up again, then go back down. Rather than having this huge 10x, right, or super cycle or left translated cycle or right translated cycle. I think people are underestimating the ability for it to just chop, go up, come back down, chop, go up, come back down, chop, right? And I'm just like drawing this, and you have this like ascending wedge up for the next 3 years. Or ascending channel for the next 3 years. So I know I'm just drawing over the screen, but the point is it may not look like either a traditional cycle with a blow off top or a left translated early blow off top cycle, right? It may be this like prolonged upward channel cycle just because of this fiscal dominance situation. And everything related about what I've been talking about for the last 6 months to 2 years. A lot of regulatory uncertainty. Is Ethereum a security? Are the Commodities Exchange Committee supposed to watch this? Is the SEC supposed to watch this? So on and so forth. So that's all I wanted to talk about for Bitcoin. So let's talk about some of the other things in the market. Ordinal Spot is releasing how much revenue they made, 4 million. So to me, I said almost like a real business. So this is really important to me, right? I'm really trying to pick out something, some of these things that if we do have this prolonged cycle, right, that I can weather the course, I can make a lot of gains, I can have equity in a business or share in a business, whatever you want to call it. And to me, this looks like one of them. Could I be wrong? Other big influencers are starting to notice Ordinal Spot. I do think they have an opportunity to integrate their API into different products and services, right? So really important to me. Trio, it came back up, but it's in this huge wedge. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of allocation, them dumping on us, so on and so forth. I hope that this is a long-term oriented project. There's nothing to say that I can prove that. But I just think if the revenue is 4 million, it's worth 37 million, right? Obviously, crypto has a high multiple associated with it, that it's extremely undervalued in terms of revenue growth, PE ratio, whatever you want to look at and call it. That's what I think. Okay. BVM, I just keep noticing they're building right their AI projects, their AI blockchains under BVM. Is it a scam? I'm not completely sure. I really like it as part of a theoretical portfolio. It's been getting crushed, but so has everything. The last thing I want to say is Tim Draper investing in Zest, huge, but they had a DeFi show today with some ETH guys. And they talked about how Daiko could get a huge influx, Stacks could get a huge influx. You got SBTC, you've got a lot of things coming up with Nakamoto. So a lot of interesting things happening. So I've got a hunch, and my hunch is I'm not convinced of a left or right. I'm convinced of having a plan for a possibly upward channel for 3 years, right, where we have this huge surge and then we have this drawdown, and huge surge and drawdown, and that could be related to the volatility in the market, in the traditional markets. It could be related to the fiscal dominance and where they just like print a huge amount of money over 3 years, lower that debt to GDP, get us back to monetary dominance, whatever the case may be. I have to be prepared for, right, and I have to allocate and be willing to tell myself, is this the right time to come back and go back to Bitcoin? Now, how that changes my activities in terms of investing in this space is, if we do have a run up, just make sure you take profits, because there's a high chance that there's a lot of volatility in the traditional market with its high inflation, and you have this huge drawdown and then back up again and drawdown and back up again, and just making sure you secure profits and so on and so forth. So it doesn't mean do anything, say anything, right? You are in control of your own investing in life. This is not financial advice. But I just think it's interesting to talk about in terms of what could happen and how to be prepared mentally. So you're not just like getting ultra exuberant and you're realizing that this could be a very volatile 3 years. Okay, so you can call me Hunch. Have a great day. Love you.